Other than actually fishing, there are few things I like more than messing with lures. And judging by the number of you who entered the Hunt for Big Fish Great American Lure Build-Off, many of you were interested in messing with lures too. In case you're not familiar with the Great American Lure Build-Off, the contest involved people coming up with an original idea and sending in an entry. The winner will have their lure put into production and distributed by River to Sea, and they'll get a royalty for it, maybe even become rich and famous. These are the overall top 10 entries. Some very interesting stuff. The overall winner was Jason Meisner from Kalamazoo, Michigan, with a new twist on a kind of an old family of lures, weedless rigged soft plastics. Here's Jason's weedless rigged soft plastic popper. Let's join Mike Foppel from Alumilite and Jason in his workshop in Kalamazoo, Michigan right now.
Congratulations, Jason, on being the first ever lure build-off winner. Tell us a little bit about your design and your thought process behind your lure.
Well, thanks, Mike, and I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody involved in the process. It's been a great experience, and I truly am humbled to be the winner of this. I wanted to have a soft plastic top water bait that was completely weedless. I started off with something that resembled a pop art. I found out pretty quick that to offset the weight of the Texas rigged hook, I needed to have more body, more mass to keep it buoyant. So I went a little bit bigger body. What I found is still, couldn't get it to ride quite high enough. So I finally ended up doing was making a bait fish model with a popping mouth. Gave him more surface area and had that buoyancy that I needed.
Sounds good. So then you're able to keep it high and keep it on top. Tell us about the molds.
I used Alumilite's mold putty because I could take this original, press it in, and in 15 minutes I could be pouring baits.
Nice. So you had a nice simple, obviously an open mold, so it's a one piece, no detail on the back side, so you just press the putty over it and, like you said, quick and easy. Tell us about how you cast them and how you came up with the right combination of soft plastic.
I started off using Alumidust. I can basically brush it in there, pour over top of it, and it sticks right to it. I started out with just Alumisol, poured it in, and found out I wanted to have a little more buoyancy, so I threw in micro balloons, and then it got a little hard, so offset that, I put in softener. I've been working on that combination.
Sounds good. Well, great lure, great design, and congratulations again.
Thanks, Mike.
Back to you, Larry.
I want to congratulate Jason and also thank Mike from Alumilite, the guys at River to Sea, and patent attorney Richard Ogawa for helping him bring his idea into fruition. And I'd also like to encourage any of you that have a great idea to enter next year's contest. In designing lures, many different things come into play. First of all, the way I look at it is a lure dynamic or static. What does that mean? Well, you can base the lure's design on its shape so that when you move it in the water, it does certain things. Here are a couple that are very, very different. Here's one that, obviously, the most important single design feature was getting it to look super realistic. But the ideal lure has both features. It looks really realistic, and when you move it in the water dynamically, it looks really realistic as well. Let's take the development of frog lures as an example. Here's an ancient one that's supposed to look like a frog, and I guess if you look at it from on top, it sort of does, and maybe a little from the bottom. But dynamically, with the attachment here, this thing would just sort of wiggle just like any other minnow bait would. There have been lots of frogs made over the years. Here's another rather clever one, and here the looks are sort of frog-like, and dynamically when you give it a pull, you pull on here and the legs go broot, broot, broot. Interesting little contraption. Now here's another one that has always been a favorite of mine, and he's got one of his legs missing, but you pull his little thingamajig out and it goes, come on. Obviously this is sort of a joke. This is more of a modern frog. The modern frog consists of a roto-molded hollow body, usually with a embedded or parallel double hook that's extremely weedless. It's got a couple of legs that just sort of drag. Most of them just slide across the surface. This one has a little cup to make it walk back and forth. This is what most frogs today look like. It just drags across the surface and it sort of says frog, and it's super weedless. I'm real proud of this one. This is my diving frog, and to me, this combines the best features in terms of looking like a frog and doing like a frog in the water. Now, initially we had some problems with the legs, but you can see these things are really tough. I'll fish a half a season without having to replace the legs on these things. Anyway, check this thing out in the water. To me, it is the ideal frog. Frogs either hop, swim, skip, or dawdle, or dive. When something's chasing them, they try to get on land and hop across the surface, or they dive under and try to dig into the bottom. The Dahlberg diving frog does all of these things. Some great lures are combinations of other ones. Check this one out. It's not a duck season, but I've been seeing ducks swimming around. And every morning there'll be one less baby duck. So anyway, I'm gonna try something. This is sort of ridiculous. And I should have somebody else with me helping, but I couldn't get anybody to go. So here's the deal. This is the duck decoy. I've got a planer from a striper fishing that we use for live baiting stripers. And I've glued it to the bottom of this decoy. And then on the back of the decoy, I've got a spreader bar with two little baby whopper ploppers on it. And then up here in the neck, this is called a roller troller. It's a release clip that I can adjust. It's got a little roller in it. So what I'm going to do is set out the duck, and it's going to plane. And I'm going to run my main lure, my whopper plopper, through this little clip. And then the duck will bring it out. This will look like two babies are swimming behind it. And then I'm going to let the plopper go 15, 20 feet, and then maybe reel it up and get it come closer, back and forth. And see if I can fool a muskie. So it's a cross between duck hunting, striper fishing, marlin release clip, and a sort of like an Alabama rig. As I let out line, you can see my whopper plopper is trailing my duck by maybe 25 feet. There he is. What do we got This is funny. Okay. Well, he's not a giant, that's for sure. Little rat. Yeah. That's pretty funny. When it comes to designing lures, you can get your inspiration from almost anything. Live creatures or simple physical principles. In this case, what I've done, I went on the internet and I got copies of 3 different wing shapes. Now, a wing is a thing that is supposed to fly. So what am I thinking about here with the lure? Well, what I've done, I started out with this shape, the flat bottom. This is a wing shape for a slow flying airplane that has a lot of lift. I traced it on a piece of balsa wood, cut out the balsa wood shape. Now I could do this over and over and over and have to do it with every lure. But rather than that, after I got my shape, I made a mold. Just a simple open top mold. And what I can do with it, I mix urethane and micro balloons together so I get different buoyancies. Here I've got a very lightweight one. Here I've got one that's a little bit heavier. And these I can shape, change the shape of. Make them wide in the front, wide in the back. This one I've actually put tungsten weight in the front. And what I'm planning on doing, a regular wing would work like this, and the molecules of air would hit it here. They race to the back, reach the back at the same time. So this one has to travel further and faster, so that creates lift. So what my plan is, I'm going to take this wing shape and actually turn it upside down. And then I'll play around with my location point on my screw eyes and my balance of it and see if I can get that thing to actually swim down and try to be a wing to go deeper. And I don't know what it'll do, but I'll find out. You never know what they're going to bite on, and you never know when they're going to bite either. Here's another example. I wasn't fishing muskies. I was looking for smallmouth bass. Ooh, I don't have a leader. So just grab us. You gotta keep it really super tight. I don't want the leader to go across his mouth. How'd you get out of the net? What? I wasn't expecting that. I was looking for bass. Just came up. What a beautiful, beautiful fish. It really got a pretty coloration. Whoa! Oh, I'm flopping. away he goes. I was just gonna bring up the fact, like, why am I fishing with this lure? Why aren't I using a popper or a crayfish or a jig or a spinnerbait or whatever? It's just been my experience. If I'm looking for a really big smallmouth, this lure, especially the subsurface version especially, just that zigzag and hang, I catch a lot of really big smallmouth on this. And that was a little musky. Typical. Also typical, don't bring the cameraman along and the muskies bite like they were crazy. I encountered 37 of them in a 3-day period with no cameraman.
Big fish, oh, look at the girth on it. Nice fish, Larry. That was great! Leap left right into the net. Now we're talking. Wow! Oh, that's a beauty. Jeez. Good one, Larry. Good catch. Literally right in the air. Wow! Just wanted to get out of there. Beautiful. Larry, that was a great deal. Wow, is that about as cool as it gets or what? Launches into the net and Larry gets it midair. There you go. Pandemonium in the boat. Dashing around the boat. Oh, that's a thick one. Oh. Good one. Fast reflexes.
Hook is out of the fish. It's in the sucker like so. Alright.
Gosh, how many of them are this big? I like it. It's your fish. You got it. You got it. Oh, cool. God, the average size is just tremendous. Tremendously great.
Dropping that up here.
What a great day.
Ridiculous. And speaking of, well, not ridiculous, I've got a contest to tell you about. It's called Beat Mo. All right, this is Mo. And on the end of that's a big tuna. How big is it? We'll see in a minute. But if you think you can do better than Mo, go to the Shimano website on the Facebook thing, look at Beat Mo. If you catch a fish that we feel is more significant than the one Mo is about to bring in, you're gonna win a great big bag of Shimano swag. If not, you're just gonna be another Joe that got beat by Mo. If you think you can beat Mo, go to Shimano.com. If you're interested in lure building, go to MakeLure.com. And if you've got a question for me, check out the Ask Larry forum on HuntForBigFish.com. See you next week.